Okay, my rebuttal is on Sean's speech about our policy and what's wrong with it. So our policy would remove the grant system and from the federal and state governments. Our policy would limit the amount of government-approved loans. And finally, it would stabilize the tuition costs by returning the rate of change to inflation percentages. Okay, so Sean said that this would lower enrollment. He used a fact saying that nationally, he was talking about removal of the grant system, and he said that it would lower enrollment. Now, nationally, he used a fact that said nationally these students rely on federal loans and grants to help them pay for college. I'd like to point out that this fact states that it's a combination of federal loans and grants. So removing the grant system would lead students to get loans anyways. He also said that it would be that schools could possibly go out of business. I don't think that schools will go out of business due to eliminating the grant system. Sean said that it will create more debt if you remove the grant system. Who said that colleges have to be free? I mean, taxpayers pay for K through 12 and part of public universities' funding. I don't get a full ride scholarship to school. I think people should be able to pay for their tuition also. His second point is that policy would limit the amount of government-approved loans. This causes an increase in, he said that this will cause an increase in private funding. Well, my policy will increase the competition amongst lenders, which will in turn lower interest rates. So it is for private loan funding. He said that to limit the amount of government-approved loans will restrict the low-income students from attending college. I have a fact here that says, according to David Campaign, who wrote How Do Loans Affect the Educational Decisions of Students? David says that low and moderate income students will make up for the tuition costs. They will, instead of enrolling in private institutions, they will enroll in public institutions. Instead of living on campus, they will stay at home. So this means that lower income students can still go to college, but they'll have some restrictions on their schooling. And our third point was that policy will stabilize tuition costs by returning the rate of change to inflation percentages. He said that the reason for a higher rate of increase in tuition compared to inflation rates is not from the grants, but from the reliance on loans for students to pay for college. Sean talks about the loan increases compared to grants, but he does not state any facts that connect loans to an increase in tuition. He's talking about the increase between grants and loans and how the elimination will affect the loans. Sean's final point was that loans are easily attainable for students through private companies as well as through many federal systems established. I don't know what this has to do with inflation, because reducing tuition rates to inflation prices, I don't see the connection between private companies and what this has to do with my policy.
Take the remaining time that you have.